Okay, everyone. Hold on. Just let me go. Oh, that's funny. Okay, we're live. All right, let's do this. And let's talk about this. This is a gold coin from Noble Gold, and you'll see it in the links. Now, what's going on with the markets, huh? Right now, they're all over the place and no one knows what's happening. Will they grow or come crashing down? One thing's for sure, gold has kept people safe for thousands of years through wars, disasters, and financial troubles. That's why Noble Gold is inviting you to get safe with this gold issue. They're gifting you a solid gold, 24 karat American gold eagle. This is easy to get rid of compared to the Canadian maple. And a spectacular display case with every qualifying IRA 141K started before the end of November. Gold has been looking after people for thousands of years, and this time it's no different. It is the only proven way of keeping hold of the value of your retirement fund, whatever happens there. No call centers, no sales pitch, straight through the experts. Noble Gold, what really matters. And you have their phone number, 877-646-5347. And I'm just going to, my link is in the commercial, but I'm just going to put one for you here so you guys can get it. Here you go. Oh, Mel's already here. Let me put her on. Hold on one second. Okay, so there we go. Here we go. Mel's here. All right. Hello. Okay,
hi, guys. Hey. Hi. So, how was your Halloween?
I called Roseanne and I emailed her and I said, excuse me, where's the video that we did? She's like, it's up on the videos, bitch. Early in the morning, it's up on the videos, bitch. I'm like, thank you. She will be the moderator when we do that show. Okay, it's called 4 Points. That would be no, and then she corrected me. She said, I'm East, bitch. No, I'm East, bitch. I love her.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see it.
I love her. Bow to the master, bow to the master. Okay, I love her. No, she's gonna have to be south because it's north, south. You would be first, north, south, east, and west. And that is how we're gonna do we're going to start doing that, and then that's going to be on every show that we do. And I only want to do it once a week because it's going to think until we sell it to either OAN or whatever. So that's my idea. It's called 4 Points, like the compass. So they can't say we're copying The View, which has a stigma to it now. That's a very liberal view. I'm not going to want to copy that show. Oh, your hair looks fantastic. Wow.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Anyway, okay, so Anne's telling me that Roseanne already mentioned The View. I'm like, that's not what we're doing. So, just get with the program. So let's celebrate a little bit because they're having a huge thing in Beverly Hills. I'm going to go to my friend Greg Rubini's Twitter. This is going to be a super long show because Mel's got her thing. And then this is just a super long show because I don't know, what's happening tomorrow because I have no idea. Okay. All right. So do we see this here? Do you guys see this?
Wow. Nice.
That's Beverly Hills. And let's play this video. It's got 1.6 million views. Just as many views there. I hope they take California. I hope they do, but it's still iffy to me. But I hope they take California.
I don't know. I think they're gaslighting us with the numbers.
Yeah, of course. The numbers are always gaslit every year. It's the same crap.
Yeah, just so they can pull their. I mean, they're still going to try to contest whatever happens, but I think we're gonna have a landslide on election night. God
correct. Willing. And guess what? Greg Rubini also tweeted, Dade County in Miami is up 29% over last year. Dade County's over 29% from last year. So what what is it at? Dade County, which is all the Cubans, which love to vote conservative.
Well,
I
also,
love that.
they lived in socialism. They know what's happening here. They know what the left is doing. And, you have to know that, because same with Venezuelans. I mean, there's a lot of South Americans in Miami-Dade, and that's what's going to happen. They're not dumb. They're treating us like
they've been there and done that, so they're not going to let it happen again. So now we're going to go. This is the target list. It's not the full list, but as you know, you guys come here for information, and I'm going to have to give you the target list. And I'm sorry to those that are drones from the other channel. You've been hidden, and you'll never come back again. That's all I have to say. I can talk about whatever I want because it's my channel. I'm going to take Roseanne's lead and say, hey, bitch, I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Antifa and BLM plan November 4th riots. Arizona, Phoenix, California, Carlsbad, California, Hanford, I don't even know where that is, California, Monterey, California, Newberry Park, California, San Ardro. I wonder if they're giving them the weapons from 1616 Capitol Street, California, Solvang, Colorado Springs, Connecticut, Hampstead, Connecticut, Manchester, Florida, Merritt Island. Where the hell is that?
I have no idea.
Florida, huh?
I have no idea.
Florida, Middleburg, Florida, Palm Coast. I guess that's Palm Beach. Florida, St. John, Florida, St. Augustine, Georgia. See, they don't even come to this coast because they know better.
Right.
Georgia, Griffin, Idaho, Bonners Ferry, Illinois, Orlando Park, Louisiana, Bossier City, Louisiana, Shreveport, Maryland, Lexington Park, Maryland, Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Warrensburg. Here we go. Michigan, Dearborn Heights, Michigan, Lake Onon, Nebraska, Bellevue, Nevada, Reno, New Mexico, Farmington, North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina, New Bern. North Dakota. As you know, North Carolina, the whole of Carolina is delaying their results till the 12th. That's a satanic number, if you didn't know. And Pennsylvania is delaying till the 6th. That's another satanic number. North Dakota, Minot, I guess. Rhode Island, Newport. South Carolina, Charleston. South Carolina, Daniel City. South Dakota, Rapid City. Virginia, Burke. Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, Springfield, Virginia, Suffolk, Virginia Beach, Washington, Anacortes, Washington, Cheney, Washington, Carlton, Washington, Seattle, and Washington, Spokane. This is not the full list, by the way. So that's just the partial list. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about it. What do you think?
I think that they're telegraphing it, which is great. I also think that Trump, that it's over. Like, no matter what they do, either he calls the Insurrection Act, which I would be happy about, but I think they're prepared. I saw, had somebody send me that their National Guard in 12 reserve stations throughout the country that are ready to go. This time they're not going to get away with it. This time they're not. He already let us watch them destroy our country. Now it's over. I don't think he's going to wait, because, all these governors have already broken the law multiple times. So,
it's disgusting what they do. Anyway, here are a few little drops that are on my Ink social, so we don't have to go where. And can you see that one? Are we on? Can you see that one? There you go. Okay, so let's do it. All right. This is from 2011. This is a YouTube video, so they can't fault me on this one. This is a YouTube video, and this is from 2011, space launch. So basically, yeah, we're launching into their territory, basically.
Yeah. Also, I've noticed General Flynn has been quite vocal the last couple days, so I'm really happy to see that he's stepping out of the shadows finally.
And what happened to Barr? He just talked about all these ballots being thrown in the trash. Trump ballots being thrown in the trash in Pennsylvania. He made a big deal about it. But what happened to the Obamagate papers? What happened to that? Nothing.
Well, I think they're waiting on it. What I did hear was that there was a little peaceful protest for real Trump supporters outside of Barr's house, I guess, and he came out and talked to them. And it wasn't reported what he said, but apparently when he came out and talked to them, they all felt pretty positive walking away. So, you know, I think he explained to them, you know, that they have to do it the way they're doing it, but that there will be justice. So we'll see. You know?
Well, you know, maybe maybe he wanted to make them feel at ease that it's not coming out so they can relax.
Right.
But really, yeah. There you go. There you go. There you go. All righty. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Game over. Game over.
All righty. Okay, that's from NASA, which I'm not too thrilled with, as you know how I feel about NASA, right?
Yeah, but let's hope that it's they're weeding out the swamp rats over there too.
Yeah, we have two competing hurricanes, one on the West Coast and one here on the East Coast. So one on the Gulf Coast again, like twin hurricanes. So they need to stop it. They need to stop it because I'm getting tired of it. And, you know, it's crap. Okay, let's go down and finish this. Okay. All right. So here we go. We have some interesting comments right here. We have... you know, the left saying that the thin blue line flag is maybe an anti-Antifa flag, maybe. When we know it is, okay?
Yeah, they're saying like anti-Black Lives Matter, you know. Well, okay, Black Lives Matter hates the cops, and that's their whole thing, so.
Okay, so here we go. A few comments. Are you ready to take back this country? Are you ready to hold the political elite accountable? Are you ready to finish what we started? Nothing can stop what's coming. You hear those familiar words. Battle to prevent the truth from reaching the people. Battle to maintain the push division. Divided you're weak. Divided you fight each other. Divided you pose no threat. And here is the reset, which is, as you know, Anne mentioned, it's already done. The financial reset is done in Europe. Okay, so this is from Time. The COVID-19 pandemic has proved a unique opportunity to think about what kind of future we want. Time partners with World Economic Forum to ask leading thinkers to share ideas for how to transform the way we think. I don't think that, the Patriots are talking about the same kind of reset.
No, that's what I was saying the other day on Charlie's Angels redo.
Yeah.
Is that, at the same time that they're talking about their great reset and reimagining everything, that there's also the quantum financial system, and they're not connected. But, the whole thing is to divert attention. So they're confusing people.
Right.
Their thing is about to pay off your debts once, then they own everything, and you'll get a universal income. And any country right now, in my opinion, that is locking down and taking, when you hear the IMF or World Economic Forum, you might as well say the UN, Bill Gates, and the billionaire club. But basically, anyone who's locking down right now already took money from the IMF and the World Economic Forum. We didn't, thank God. But they're trying to confuse everyone, acting like, what Trump and them have planned is the same thing. And it's not even close,
Yeah. So this is what it says. This is not about the Republicans versus Democrats. This is about preserving a way of life. If America fails, the world fails. Patriots on guard. Okay, so now we can talk about what's happening. The biggest search on Google right now is how to change your vote.
Well, I have to say, the worst part is, and I think Anne said this the other day, I guess the argument was that Bill Barr and Durham were saying they didn't want to arrest people and put indictments down before the election because it was political. Well, to me, it's been political that they didn't, because what they've done to we the people by the propaganda, which we'll talk about in 1 second, is that they're not letting the people be aware of the full information when they go to vote. And that should be the responsibility of the press. which is their job is to make we the people aware of the facts. Well, you can't hide the laptop and the deals, but somehow they have. And I think I figured out how they think they're going to get away with it, but they're not, But anyway, it makes the whole election.
We have Ray that tried to hide it since last year, and so he's going to be out. He's gone. He's pretty much gone, is what Anne said. So I agree. He's gone.
Also, the True Pundit said that there's evidence that Ray was involved when he was not in the government and was a private lawyer in some of the deals, that he actually benefited from some of the deals with the Hunter Biden stuff. So we shall see. Ray is like everyone else. I honestly believe that he pulled in people like Bolton and Ray and Coates on purpose. To, you keep your enemies. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I believe that that's was his MO. A lot of these people also, there has been talk that some of that Obama pardoned a bunch of people on his way out, and that why it's had to continue, including, I believe, the entire impeachment was a counterinsurgency, that they thought that they were taking Trump down. I always said him saying a perfect call was very strange. It's a perfect read of the script, probably. But I think the entire impeachment thing, we were counter investigating them during it, and I believe military intelligence is really leading the show on the Trump side, and therefore there would be no leaks. There would be all the normal nonsense with the DOJ and FBI. If it's military intelligence, isn't going to happen. So I think a lot of this was a setup to get them in crimes that even if Obama pardoned them on their way out secretly, that they committed crimes after, and that's what's really going to put the nail in their coffin. And it looks like there was a lot of double agents in there.
Yeah,
I think Rod Rosenstein is a real bad guy.
Yeah,
and I think he's going to be a linchpin to a lot of it too. And him. Yeah.
Rod Rosenstein has been living in a hotel for over a year.
Well, maybe he has to live in a hotel.
He put everything in his wife Lisa Barsumian's name, so he's expecting to go any minute. But they're keeping him waiting. All right. So yes, I'm going to announce this is very huge. I have Bishop Larry Gators coming on Thursday.
I know, I saw that. So exciting.
For 2 years in advance, and he said he was impressed by God to come on this channel. So Thursday at 9:30, Larry Bishop Gators. Also, we have Anna Kate that's trying to get on here. Yeah, she's coming on. So this channel's doing really
blowing up.
And if you guys want all of Mel's, I asked her to post all of her links on Ink Social only, because this is going to be too much to put in the description. Link after link after link. So if you're not signed up to Ink Social, we almost have we're going towards 10,000 now. If you're not signed up there, we can't help you. We've been asking you to get in the ARC for a long time, and I'm getting tired of asking you. So if it goes down, if Facebook goes down, that's your prerogative. But everyone's there. Roseanne's son is trying to get her on right now, and so she's going to be there. So everyone's going to be there. So basically, when we do the show, we're going to try to sell it, but we're going to start doing it here. And once it gets going, we're going to probably try to sell it to bigger thing. But I really don't want to do, they're probably going to make us do a show every day, 5 days a week. But I really just want to do a show 1 day a week. But if they're buying it, we'll do the show 5 days a week. I mean, how bad can it be? 1 hour a day for 5 days a week. You know what I'm saying?
I worked on Chelsea Lately for years. It's not that bad. It goes
not that
quick.
bad, right? Not that bad. There you go. You can try selling it too. It's going to be great. Once I get the art done of the compass and then the forest parts, Roseanne keeps on saying she's east, but she's not. She's south. Okay, north. When you look at a map, it's north south. Oh my gosh, that was so crazy with the cats yesterday.
I gotta check it out.
Oh my god, she cracks me up. She really does. I love her. But anyway, yeah, she's brutal like I am. So that's the way we call it. It's I get it. I get it 100%. She can pretty much say anything to me, and it's fine.
Oh, come on. After what she's been through, she can say anything to anyone.
Yeah, and she's really nice about it. I'm kind of mean about it, but I'm here to expose people. These people are trying to tell me, oh, all the patriots should stick together. I'm sorry, but I need to expose the criminals and the con people. That's what I do. So if you don't like that, that's what this channel's all about. We expose. This should be the exposing channel. We expose. And if there's some fake MAGA or there's some fake patriots in there, we expose them too, because that's what we do. This channel's all about that. If you haven't figured that out, you're on the wrong channel. If you want us to play nice, that's the wrong channel, okay? All right, so get a clue. And I've already blocked many that have told me, what to do. So you're hidden, which means you can't find it anymore. So go back to where you came from, especially that big channel with a lot of numbers that's changed their whole thing on Nasera after doing 40 videos. They changed, maybe trying to avoid Security Exchange Commission probing. That's my guess. Okay, so now without ado, this is Mel's show. It's her time to go, and hopefully we'll be doing the other show soon too. So she'll have two on this thing. She'll be ruling this channel soon. And please tell them you don't want your own channel and you don't want to go anywhere else, because they're like, where is she? She doesn't want her own channel. It's a lot of work. I'm telling you, I'm burnt.
I don't know how you're doing it. Yeah, only you and Trump. You're keeping up with Trump.
I'm on freaking fumes. If it wasn't for you guys, I would have quit because I'm burnt. I'm like doing
well, you're like Trump. He did five giant rallies yesterday. Look at this guy.
But he's had help from those med beds, okay? He's probably laid in one for 8 hours. I bet you if I laid in one for 8 hours, I would be good too. But I have not. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so I have 4 topics, but you know what? I wanted to go real quick to the. Now, we discussed, and I'll put all the links on Ink Social so everyone can check out all this and do their own research. But I wanted to start with, I saw what happened here. So the Smith-Mundt Act was first passed in the 40s, and it was a law saying that the U.S. could use propaganda overseas strategically against foreign adversaries for political and military strategy. Okay, well, that did not include using propaganda on the American people. In 2014, between 2012 and 2014, Obama rewrote the Smith-Mundt Act, and he had it as the modern Smith-Mundt Act, which changed one thing. The one thing he changed was that now journalists could use propaganda on the American people. So if anyone thinks that Obama did not plan for the attack of propaganda and lies that the CFR-run news media is getting away with and has gotten away with for 3.5 years, it was a strategy and planned well in advance, including the false flag propaganda, including not telling the truth about the Hunter Biden laptop, including everything that's gone on with Russia. These journalists think that they can get away with propagandizing, lying, using no sources, making up, the Charlottesville thing, the bounties in Russia, the Atlantic articles. Well, that is because Obama changed the law banning propaganda in America and made it that it was legal for our journalists in America to use propaganda against we the people. This seems like such a disgusting turn of events that most people didn't know about. Very similar to when we found out that from Snowden that they could search anyone, and now we know that Google can show anyone their without a warrant, can show anyone that what you're searching for on the internet. So you don't even need a warrant if you're a cop or FBI right now to look up any single one of our search backgrounds, because Google has a deal with the government. So that also came through around the same time. And then Nancy Pelosi, when she did her annoying, you lie and lie and lie, you smear somebody, then you tell everyone, and then you put it out there full force. And then when they deny it, you come back with the wrap-up smear. Well, that's pretty much what the Smith-Mundt Act allows. Now, I believe that they are committing crimes against humanity with the propaganda that they've imposed upon us, especially about COVID-19 and the fear and the mental torture that it's caused millions of people, billions of people around the world. America right now is the only one not yet initiating a crimes against humanity lawsuit against the UN, World Health Organization, and the World Economic Forum. All the other major countries are already in play in that. It has come out, and I believe that, now don't forget with the, sorry to talk so fast, but don't forget with the Hunter Biden laptops, there's another group of servers that were actually turned over to Ludo TV that are from CCP defectors who thought that they were going to be, you know, as a lot of the CCP billionaires that defected were murdered. They turned over. So there are servers that have nothing to do with Hunter Biden's laptop, but are involved in that blue gold PSYOP blackmail ring. And he said yesterday on GTV that he has over 100 people that the CCP has blackmail on from those servers. So we're not even talking, it's not Hunter Biden and Joe Biden at the tip of the iceberg, but this isn't even close to done. But again, that Smith-Mundt Act, when it was revised by Obama, allowed our journalists who think that they're going to get away with it to lie to we the people. So all this time, everyone's been like, well, they wouldn't say Russia was real if it wasn't, because that would be against the law. No, Obama changed the law purposely for this. So don't think these journalists better watch out, because they're not getting away with it. This was a crime against we the people, and we the people have had it. So I wanted to bring up the Smith-Mundt Act, and that Obama adjusted it from being able to use propaganda on foreign adversaries to being able to use propaganda on we the people, the American citizens. It's fundamentally disgusting and along the lines.
I want to say something, because for everything there's always a counterfeit. Just like NXIVM, there was the securities exchange. I mean, what do you call it? Securities. No, that was the Security Act that was signed by the Bushes. No, that was signed by Clinton. Was forced by the ranchers to sign it. The Security Act, and then the Bushes had the counterfeit one after they stole all the money from, you know,
I remember that
dollars. That was called the Stabilization Act. So when you are doing a video about NXIVM, you need to do the good one, which is the old one that no one knows about, and then the newer one that everyone knows about, because Joe M was correcting me on that and said the NXIVM was bad, and that's the one they know. They don't know the original one. So if you do videos about that, you need to do both, or else you're only telling half the story. So that we want to tell the whole story here. So that's what I'm saying. Like what she says, for everything that we have, they have a counterfeit. So that's their counterfeit. There you go. Okay.
They're gaslighting the public, and our media is completely complicit.
And they need to be in jail too. Yeah.
So I know we wanted to talk about the discrepancy between Keith Reniere's sentence and Claire Brofmans' sentence.
There you go.
So just quickly to, because, you know, people like us covered NXIVM. Most people in this country didn't hear about it. Again, the Smith-Mundt Act. They're deciding what to tell the people and what not to, and how to twist it. Okay, so last week, Keith Reniere was finally sentenced to 120 years in prison. And in his sentencing, I'll just read real quick. What the judge had to say. The judge said that the Reniere's reign of control over the women he scarred, both physically and emotionally, is the making of a horror story. It is inconceivable to think of sexual exploitation, abuse, seclusion, and mind control his victims suffered at his direction. Today, the judge has given him 120 years to think about whether or not the torture he inflicted on others for more than a decade and the distress he brought to their families was worth it in the end. And then it says, sexual exploitation of children and women is among the most reprehensible and vile crimes imaginable. While Keith Reniere's sentence cannot erase the pain his victims have endured, I hope it provides an opportunity for healing and a path forward. Today's sentencing should be a warning for criminals around the world, regardless of the illegal enterprises and whether the profits are tangible or not. IRS-CI will decode illicit schemes, and hold criminals accountable for the pain, suffering, and financial abuse of victims. Then it goes on to say Reniere led a criminal racketeering enterprise that relied on his inner circle of co-conspirators to carry it out. The purpose of the enterprise was to promote Reniere and to recruit individuals into a purported self-help organization founded by Reniere, including NXIVM and DAS. He and his co-conspirators committed a wide range of criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, alien smuggling, wire fraud, obstruction of justice. And then it goes on to say, which is where I held pause, on September 2020, Claire Brofmans, the financier with her sister behind NXIVM of over $150 million, was sentenced to 81 months imprisonment after having been convicted of conspiracy to conceal and harbor illegal aliens for financial gain, fraudulent use of personal identification, and racketeering. Now, here's where it gets crazy. So, Keith Reniere gets 120 years in prison. Claire Brofmans, who financed the entire thing, was 100% involved, kept slaves herself, was very involved. Now, remember, nothing from the Rainbow Cultural Garden and the child abuse schools that they had all over the world is mentioned in this sentencing. This is why I do not believe the NXIVM case is over, and I sure as heck don't think the Brofmans are done. But the discrepancy between his 120 years and her 6 years, and he's going to a maximum security prison. She is going to a minimum security prison in Connecticut. So to me, the craziest part is Sarah Brofmans and her sister, Claire Brofmans, and the father who passed away were some of the biggest and original members of the Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation. They also, as people know, but is not in here and is not reported yet, they illegally made their slaves give the maximum amount to the Hillary Clinton campaign in 2016 and then reimburse them because they had maxed out. So, you know, that's there. But also, she must have, I don't know how she got 6 years, other than that she must have made, sorry, something fell on my head. She must have made quite a deal. So the other part of this story that people don't know, the Brofmans are not out of the woods. They're the 12 families of the banking dynasty, the Bloodline families. They are not getting away with this at all. I believe that there will be more charges against her because at this moment, her sister, Sarah Brofmans, her cohort in NXIVM, remember, her and her sister financed the entire thing, which destroyed a lot of lives because if anyone, kind of like Scientology, if anyone tried to leave NXIVM, they used their money to destroy them, meaning lawsuits and criminal filings and everything they could to bankrupt people and drive them crazy. Actually, 6 people that were once in NXIVM can't be accounted for, you know, meaning they're either that they're probably dead or were murdered or whatever, or suicided, but they can't be counted for and nothing's happened. And it was a big cover up in Albany. I mean, Cuomo squashed the case 10 years before it came out. You know, how many people could have been saved? And then Schneiderman was involved, obviously. You know, they also had Schumer's records. Gillibrand's father worked for them. Clinton was best friends with the Brofmans sisters. So just to breach that, since most people don't know about Sarah Brofmans. Sarah Brofmans has not come back to America since her sister was arrested. She's in France, and there's no extradition there. The problem with her, which is even bigger than NXIVM, is that Sarah Brofmans married a man, Bassett Iktet, who was basically, he wanted to take over Libya during the Arab Spring. And he and Sarah basically helped finance the Benghazi situation. They were 100% behind the unlawful overthrow of Gaddafi. Their whole plan was to overthrow Gaddafi, take all his money as they did and gold and everything, take the weapons and ship them to Syria. But at the same time, her husband, Bassett Iktet, wanted to take over as the president and ruler of Libya. Well, this didn't work out because Hillary Clinton didn't win. Had Hillary Clinton won, Sarah Bronfman's husband would probably be leading Libya right now. And it was all for personal gain, personal ambition, and they are knee deep in Benghazi, the Bronfman sisters, because Bassett, her husband, he was 100% instrumental in every step of the way of the overthrow of Gaddafi and then the Benghazi. So I know I don't think justice is done for Claire or Sarah Bronfman and their connections to the Clinton Foundation and Clinton Global Initiative, and they're very involved in the Island Challenge. The whole Bronfman family and Rothschild family and Clinton Foundation, they're all in it together. So a lot of people were very upset that Claire Bronfman only got 6 years, but looking at what Reniere got, which is 120 years, they're not done with her. And she must have given over quite a bit of information. I know that they're very wealthy. The craziest part is that Claire Bronfman was paying for Keith Reniere's defense. And, now he didn't think he was going to get that kind of time. So this is when people start talking. So stay tuned, because I don't think justice has really visited Claire, and it hasn't gotten near Sarah Bronfman, but it's not over for them. I'm glad Keith Reniere's away forever, and I look forward to Allison Mack and both Salzman's sentencings coming up. Allison Mack will be a big one because a lot of people don't know that Stormy Daniels, Michael Avenatti, that Ashley Dupree, a lot of people in sex scandals over the years have a deep connection to NXIVM, DAS. So that'll come out at some point soon, I hope. I can't wait to see Allison Mack sentenced, because I know, having been in Hollywood, to take advantage of friends that are struggling actors and lie like that, to put them into a sex cult is about as disgusting as you could possibly get. And she took a lot of joy in it. She loved it, and that was sad and sick. But then on the flip side, thinking about that in Hollywood and there is a connection between NXIVM and Scientology and the Church of Satan and all of that. And the truth is that they're all part of the same network, and the Epstein Island network. So that'll all come out. But what's scary looking back for somebody like me, and I'm sure like even Roseanne or whatever, is that to see who was involved in all of this and who got the jobs in Hollywood is just disgusting. I mean, you just feel in your head like all those years, and I mean, I have student loans and debt and waitress and just to make it, finding out that there was those roles were given to the people that did the dirty work for the higher ups, who don't even care about anything but their own power and Luciferian ideals. So the NXIVM case is to be revisited. Before we move on, do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I think also the same thing I think maybe the next show we should do on the Chalupa sisters, because
I'm on it already. It's so hard because so much is coming out, but I mean, the Chalupa sisters and the two women that testified in the impeachment are such liars. And remember how they came across what was it, Yovanovitch from the embassy?
She got a book deal. A book deal.
Well, they all get book deals, and Simon & Schuster and Pearson Publishing are in it. We'll get into that too. I mean,
the Chalupa sisters, the one sister became the finance minister of Ukraine, and then they parasite off their cash, and now guess what? They're in Puerto Rico doing the same thing off the $91 billion. Where's the $91 billion that the Democratic Party forced Donald Trump to give to Puerto Rico? It surely didn't get into their hands. Where's the $91 billion? That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
because that $91 billion was forced by the Democratic Party, because they wouldn't let any of the other states that were hurt, and this is not even a state, any of the other states, this is not a state, Puerto Rico is not a state, before they got the $91 billion, but none of the other states could get any relief. Can you believe that? That's unreal.
But then don't forget what happened. 6 months later, they found $800,000 worth of water and food and supplies in a warehouse.
Right.
Remember that woman was the worst. The one from Puerto Rico.
Carmen Yulin Cruz.
Oh my God! But she's still there.
She's still there.
Kidding me.
Trump, saying that Trump Trump killed Puerto Rico. That's their
Right.
hashtag. And whatever else. Oh my gosh, they need to go down. Those people need to go. Next
Yeah,
year is going to be huge arrests. I'm looking
I
so
know.
forward.
Oh my
I'm
God,
going to
me
help
too.
them.
Me too. Our news will finally be like positive.
Every
Yeah,
day is going to be one arrest a day or two arrests a day. Arrest, 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 arrest.
I know.
I can't get enough. It's all good.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, so I'm going to move on to something that I learned that I really think is important for everyone to know because I'm jumping to what I was talking about before, so everyone know I'm changing subjects. I stumbled upon something that's very disturbing, and it's on many levels. Now, we're always saying save the children and our children and all this. Now, it's looked like to all of us that remote schooling and training, like teaching from home, online, mind you, has been because of COVID. Okay, and this is transition. They say that 70% of students in the world, K through 12, are right now on remote learning school online. Now, they're keeping this as if it's about COVID, which we all know COVID is not contagious, barely contagious to children, no worse than the cold. And number two, we know that the Open Society and George Soros, as we've discussed, finances a lot of the teachers' unions that are refusing to go back to work because I have no idea why. But the reason why is because I believe they are getting something out of keeping the children home and online. So I did some research on this, and what I found is so disturbing. And I hope everyone gets this because it's really unbelievable. So right now they're saying 90% of the world's students are not physically attending classes. They're being educated online with something that they're terming as ed tech. Well, it says here, this is why it can't have been connected to COVID. It's not possible. It had to have been planned because it says here, analysts expect smart education this year to be a $680 billion business by 2027. So let's just think here. Are they ever expecting to reopen the schools, the people that are pushing for the closed schools? I don't think so, but let's see. I am not a fan of the ACLU, but the ACLU put out something this week that said, now that the COVID-19 pandemic has created an unprecedented opportunity for ed tech companies to make use of their privacy-violating educational products nearly universal, there is a real risk that these companies, under the guise of being generous, will use this opportunity to create personal information dossiers on an entire generation of children. So following that up, then of course I dig a little deeper and I find out that that ed tech projects have been in the works now for 10 years to be put out there on mass scale. So if they were planning it for 10 years, like they've been planning the COVID with the Rockefeller Lockstep program that came out 10 years ago, this must have been a part of it that was pre-planned. So like one nonprofit called NLearn, it provides online platforms for students to interact with material and adapt to progress. Teachers get real-time data on the students, but NLearn is an artificial intelligence software that continuously learns and improves over time for the student, which means that your student logs in, opens an account, they have all their information, their name, address, school, all the information that they have to put in. Well, their privacy policy is very vague, and it basically says that they can share your personal data with third parties, and that they will do their best to prevent fraud and legal rights. Well, what? And then their partner is called Kid Adaptive. This is another online learning, and it's all with Zoom class or Google Classroom or Microsoft Classroom. All of these programs are involved in those different platforms for schooling. So Kid Active is an insight and analytical education-related app that's cloud-based, and it's an adapting learning platform. So what it does is it individually, on each student, identifies where they're guessing answers, where they're guessing too quickly or too slowly, or if they're not rechecking their work. I mean, what? So now they have two things. The other thing about NLearn and Kid Active is that they give insights and data on behavioral and psychological patterns of individual children and turn those insights into valuable data that can be turned into algorithms. So by collecting our children's data through these programs, they can then give it to private companies or their third-party processors in the AI system to basically create dossiers on every single child that is using online learning, especially through Google Classroom and Microsoft Classroom, which use both of these. And basically, it also has on each child that's using this, it collects biometric data, data about the children's educational background, social background, emotional skills. Then it collects data to train and improve AI directly to that child. On top of that, they have this Effectiva, which has facial recognition software in Google Classroom that can detect cognitive and social behaviors of children while analyzing how they react to stimuli during educational games. MIT did a trial with this, and obviously in 2018 with all of these programs and how it could analyze each individual student for the better good, you know. But the problem is that this all comes in the form of data. So so what happens? What do I find? Guess who finances all of this? You guessed it, the Gates Foundation. Mm-hmm. So the Gates Foundation, who brought us the Dumb Down of America Common Core, the least student and the highest student have to be equal. So the Gates Foundation finances all three of these programs, Kid Active and NLearn. They launched with $9 million from a Gates Foundation grant. And the New Schools Venture Fund is also has also put in $50 million into these programs. And it turns out that the Gates Foundation started this ed tech launch in 2011 when the Rockefeller Foundation started their march towards the one world order that we are seeing via COVID, the Great Reset, as they call it. When the Gates Foundation teamed up with the Carnegie Corporation, another usual suspect, and the Rockefeller Foundation, again, all going to connect, they created In Bloom, which is a centralized platform for data and sharing curriculum. On In Bloom, public school students, test scores, attendance, health records, race and ethnicity data, economic, disability status, as well as Amazon servers are involved that analyze, distribute data to third parties of our children. On top of that, there is a thing in Bloom's online site that says it cannot guarantee the security of the information or that information won't be intercepted by third parties. So again, basically this is showing that what Edward Snowden told us about the NSA is fully functional and spying on our children in classroom under the guise of remote education brought on by COVID-19 somehow, but it's been in the works and been out there and trying to be used effectively leading up to COVID-19 when they launched it. And don't forget, when I told you a long time ago, I think like 6 months ago, that Andrew Cuomo came out and announced that Bill Gates and the Gates Foundation and Eric Schmidt of Google were going to reimagine. Whenever you hear reimagine, it means One World Order, UN Agenda 2030. So Cuomo announced right in the beginning, I mean, before we even knew that we were going to be shut down for 6 months, when we were shut down for 2 weeks, he came out and said that Gates Foundation and Eric Schmidt are going to reimagine New York State education in a private partnership called Innovate EDU. It's the next generation learning model brought to you by the Gates Foundation. The Gates Foundation cares nothing about humanity. They care about control, depopulation, and data. So now where we are is that people are starting to come out and they're getting a lot of pushbacks, but it appears that these AI platforms that they're using in our schools, including Landing Zone, which is Eric Schmidt's Google Classroom's data mine, these were developed by the Department of Defense. These weren't developed by the Department of Education. They were developed with grants during the Obama administration through the Department of Defense. So again,
NASA, the Department of Defense, and the CIA, they're all working together in weather warfare, and they're doing this. And this, what you're describing, is they're exiting the teachers that are live brainwashers and using AI to brainwash the children now.
Exactly. Right under our noses, because it's covert. Because also, you know, another one involved is Peter Thiel, you know, who he's did Planeteer, which is that big, you know, Mossad, NSA surveillance system that comes from the CIA, but he has this program Clever, which is also part of it. And here's what they're saying now that's scary. Not only does this Clever have other apps on it, VMAP, VMath, Typing School, Springboard, but one of the apps on it is Hall Pass that tracks every time a student goes to the bathroom. Like, what? And it says that more than 60% of U.S. K through 12 schools are using these programs right now. And then on top of that, another thing is like that. So basically, they're making our children into consumer content. Our children's data is becoming content for these people. And the worst part is that, you know, one thing that a woman that was is against this said, McDowell, she raised serious concerns about if a high schooler writes a paper on a certain controversial subject and takes a certain political stance, the AI in these programs can analyze who the child is, where they come from, profile them, and discourage such behavior and thinking in the future. I mean, if that's not the scariest thing. So so they're saying that federal, state, and local governments spent more than $30 billion in 2018 to implement social emotional learning monitoring technology for K through 12 public schools, which now is leading to prioritizing predatory learn for data schemes that are now basically tracking our children in every way. So they're basically creating dossiers about every single child that's in public school in the world, not just in America, that logs onto these programs. And, you know, the scariest part about that is parents have no idea. You know, parents are blind, you know, and it shouldn't be new news because, you know, the next thing about this is that, the worst part about what's going on is that these people, again, the same usual suspects of Bill Gates and obviously the New World, the UN, the UNESCO, who else is involved in here? World Economic Forum, UNESCO is the UN education arm, and Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Foundation, Ford Foundation, they're all involved in this tech with obviously with Google and all of it. And Amazon is involved because they have the Amazon servers that are carrying all this data in the cloud. And the CIA obviously is behind this all. But the CIA, I don't know where the CIA stands right now, honestly, but they have that InQtel hedge fund that paid for a lot of this. So where we are now, though, is these people, this is how you know that they don't care about our children or us first and foremost. And then I'll get to how Bill Gates connects all this to the UN in a minute. But there are a bunch of studies that came out that say that that there was a month's worth, and Los Angeles County psychologist did an interview and said that in the first 2 months of COVID, there was a year's worth of suicides and suicide attempts, suicide calls of children between 11 and 17. What this remote learning is doing is the amount of suicides that are coming, or suicidal ideation, bad enough. But even more than that, we also know that they are pushing this global citizenship education plan through these programs. And it's covert because they're not telling the parents, they're not doing any of that. But part of what they're doing with these, other than, you know, brainwashing the kids, is they're also pushing this, you know, white privilege, Black Lives Matter, you know, global citizenship. They're pushing their science, which is basically false, about climate change, about all of that. But they're doing it covertly and through these online games and projects, and kids are being monitored that don't go along with it. and parents are at home trusting the schools and their governors to, do all this. Now, on top of that, children are isolated, suicide rates are up, kids that have problems learning, like reading, math, in real school, they're going to get extra attention. Online, they get nothing. So what's happening is that it's even worse for kids that have learning disabilities or autism or any of those issues. They are totally getting left behind. Also, if you don't have parents if you have a single mom who works all the time, or dad, or you don't have parents that are invested in you, or, whatever, bad parents, there's millions of them, kids are being left behind. So now they're brainwashing the kids that'll keep up, and then they're leaving behind the kids that they are, I guess, pegging as not important, apparently, because they are looking for future workers. So where I am now, and we've been over this before, is that this all connects back to, again, the United Nations, Lucis Trust, Alice Bailey School of Philosophy, that is hugely funded by the Gates Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, Ted Turner Foundation, and the regular CFR, Bilderberg Davos crew. And this is all based on Alice Bailey and this guy, Robert Mueller, who was, for 40 years, he was in the UN. And basically, the education that is being taught with this remote learning has a background in Alice Bailey's teachings on, the 10-point plan for humanity. And people are starting to speak out about this, because what is going on here is that this man, Mueller, who ran the UN education program, came up with this new system called the Global Education System, One World Global Education through the United Nations. And basically, it is his philosophy is, as long as the child breathes the poisoned air of nationalism, education and world-mindedness can produce only rather precarious results. As we have pointed out, it is frequently the family that infects the child with extreme nationalism. The school should therefore use any means necessary, described earlier, to combat family attitudes that favor jingoism, which is national pride. So this, it's called the World Global Curriculum. And this is what Bill Gates is basing all of his learning software and his global education fund on. Another quote by this guy who created the World Global Curriculum is, "Steer our children towards global citizenship, earth-centered beliefs, socialist values, and the collective mindset, which is becoming a requirement for the 21st century workplace." That sounds really compassionate, like they care about children. But, and then on top of that, as we know, so this says that also, it says the World Core Curriculum has been accepted by 147 nations. What? And he wrote, "It seems utopian now." I don't know to who, but it seems utopian now. But by the end of 2000, he's a little, unfortunately, he's a little off. By the end of 2000, it will be a down-to-earth daily reality that all the schools of the world will learn the same knowledge of the earth. This guy is a big New World Order guy, and he said that his strategy is about Alice Bailey's 10-point plan on teaching for the New World Order. As we know, she's the founder of the Lucis Trust, which is the philosophical and non-religious Luciferian base of the UN, and has always been. And just to remind everyone, the Alice Bailey World Education UN Strategy 10-point charter is to take God, number one, take God and prayer out of the education system, reduce parental authority over children, promote excessive child rights, abolish corporal punishment. Teachers are agents of implementation only. Destroy the Judeo-Christian family structure. Promote sexual promiscuity. Use advertising industry, media, TV, movies, magazines to ends and means. If sex is free, then make abortion legal and make it easy. Make divorce easy and legal. Free people from concept of marriage for life. Make homosexuality and alternative lifestyles normal. Debase art, make it run mad. Use media to promote and change mindsets. Create an interfaith movement. Get governments to make all law and get churches to endorse all changes. And basically, her purpose for the 10-point charter and the world global curriculum is to change Christian tradition, or to redeem the nations from Christian tradition, to change to the New World Order. I also have here that I'll be putting up is her original book about education, and it's called Initiation by Alice A. Bailey. And basically it says, of great interest to all, desiring more knowledge of the problems of psychology and psychological research, describes man's road to divinity, to the divine hierarchy of the planets, meaning Saturn and Luciferian goals. And basically at the bottom, and this was written in the 40s, you can send $3.50 to the Lucifer Publishing Company at the United Nations for your core curriculum package. So here's where I'm at with this. Parents, again, I understand. Listen, we have to, I'm at a point, I've done so much research. This COVID-19 was planned 10 years ago. It's part of the 16-year plan to destroy America. But this global curriculum, now, again, what I believe is happening is that the UN / New World Order / One World Order, led by Bill Gates and the World Economic Forum and the IMF and Rockefellers and the 12 Bloodline bankers, this is about not just depopulation and getting rid of, because there's plenty of evidence that, like, when you're left, first of all, the suicide rate of what's happening to children in this country has gone up 25% in 6 months. It was already high. The highest number of suicide deaths was between, I think, 13 and 18 years old. It's gone up 25% already. So again, there is a depopulation aspect to this. The isolation, of being at home, not seeing friends, not interacting with friends, no school sports, no school electives. There is no extra help for reading, writing, arithmetic, and it's all being based on this global curriculum. It's not being based on what's going on with online and remote learning has nothing to do with what your local school board thinks, because again, they have to engage big tech in order to make it work. So by going remote online, they have our children more than ever in their grasp. And the other thing that I saw is in Illinois, they're starting a movement to remove all American history teaching from our education system, claiming that it's false and racist. And then on number 2, they are upping the sexual education online classes to start in kindergarten. Okay, so these are parts of this whole big tech takeover of education that we just walked right into, as if it's well, it makes sense, and Cuomo's on TV saying, well, we always wanted to do this. No, what is happening is that there's no free exchange of ideas. We see the media is against we the people. We see that they are indoctrinating our children, and here we have handed over our children's education to big tech, which is run by a bunch of Luciferians who are loyal to the One World Order. Bill Gates and Eric Schmidt from Google and the Rockefeller Foundation and the Carnegie Foundation and Planeteer and all these guys, Bezos, they don't care about our children. They have specific goals that have nothing to do with our children. But this software that they've implemented, that nobody has a choice. If you are going remote schooling, there are only the big tech companies to go to. They develop this. That's all there is. So it's not like, a local school can say, well, we want to teach this. That's not how it works. The local school has no say. So at the end of the day, we have these same people who have told us that COVID was going to kill a million gazillion people, when really it turns out only 9,000 people in America died that didn't have pre-existing conditions, even though they keep saying the opposite, that there's 200,000. But again, Smith-Mundt Act allows propaganda against us, we the people, so they can tell us whatever they want. Number two, the remote learning is scary as crap now that I've told you what I've told you. The reason I believe Trump and Betsy DeVos and everyone are like, they must go back to school, is because parents nor anyone has any control over what big tech is teaching our children. Because right now, big tech is teaching. And teachers that don't want to do remote online learning really have no say. They don't have a say because the programs are done. The technology is done. The covert training and education is done. So once your kid logs on, God knows who's getting their information. But I believe that they're creating dossiers for every single child that logs on to these programs that will be used in the future for nefarious means, because everything else has been, and again, it's not just like these programs. Some of them have infrared like signals that can like read emotion. Like this is very, very terrifying. And as I said a long time ago with you, is that don't forget that it was Bill Gates and the Rockefeller Foundation that implemented Common Core. And when I say either of them, they are 100% running the UN with the CCP. So the CCP, Bill Gates, and the Rockefeller Foundation are the three largest donors to all of this. And this is not about education. This is about indoctrination. This is about it's funny. Remember Hillary Clinton, aka Alice Bailey? She wrote that book, It Takes a Village, and we all thought, it's just like all their double talk. It takes a village. Let's be a global. It takes a village meant that the government is better off raising your child than you are. The government knows more. And again, we're going right back into what we always talk about, which is this group of unelected elite billionaires are deciding who wins and who loses in life. They are playing God. They are not educating our children online. They are indoctrinating them. Parents can't see. It's just like a video game. You can't see the covert images. You can't see the subliminal stuff put in there. But all of this, in the end goal, I did tons of research, and it's all going to be on Inc. Social, freak everyone out themselves. But I'll tell you right now, the goal is to make workers that don't rebel against the one world order. So that and prepare everyone for smart cities. And, and like we talked about a while ago, Bill Gates' next thing is going to be an induced famine so that we have to eat his lab-grown meat. So, this is all coming from the same billionaires club, the same people that are that their goal is to depopulate our planet by 10 to 15%, admittedly by Bill Gates at his TED Talk. Ted Turner was who started CNN and is a total Luciferian Satanist. He also was running the United Nations Foundation and the biggest donor for 20 years. And on top of that, they don't want more people than they think they need to run their one world order. So, what's turning around to look like is that not just COVID, but also this homeschooling isolation of our children is deadly. Because not only is the suicide rate up, but don't forget, they're not socializing children to interact. All dating has ended. All basically, unless the parents are, free thinkers and get it, the children aren't playing anymore. There's no school sports really where they're closed down. Like in New York, they don't go to parks. They don't go outside. And then on top of that, I love Kathy O'Brien, who survived MK Ultra. She has that book, Transformation. She said that when they were MK Ultraing her and her daughter, that they made them wear the same masks that we're wearing now because it hid the emotional reactions of smile and sad. It makes you more like a robot. Well, that's what kids are getting from each other online now. So there's like a complete, they're turning our children into robots. And we're sitting here thinking, we can no longer have faith in these people, especially when it comes to big tech or the UN, because their goal is clear. But when parents really have to do their own digging, because I'd much rather my child get a cold and take medicine to get better than have my child show up at home in a year and be a completely transformed, unemotional, actually stifled in their growth as a human being without lacking the compassion, the humor, the love, the joy, the interaction that makes being a child, fun and great. But they're creating a bunch of zombies to work for them. And then also part of it is to make the children not rebel against the plan for the smart cities. And I believe firmly, not only do I believe that New York City is going to be the first one, and but I do believe that Cuomo and de Blasio are already on board. And when he told us 6 months ago he was bringing in Bill Gates and Eric Schmidt to reimagine education in New York, I didn't imagine it could be what I found out it is, and it's really scary. And sorry to go on and on. I'm going to put all the links, but everyone has to look into this.
Yeah, go to Ink Social and find Mel K on Ink Social. Yeah. Mel K on Ink Social. There's all the links that you'll probably be watching till tomorrow. There's so many links, but it's all links. So go really join. Fantastic. Yeah, just go follow her, join her, a friend request there, and that's it. We will be moving this to an easier platform because like Roseanne's having a problem getting on, her son's saying we can't get on to the site. So I have to move it to our own server. That's going to happen very soon. And we're going to have an app. And of course, we're going to have, what's his name as a partner? That would be George Nassif. So everyone's coming on. Let's support the site. Go on and look for Mel K on Ink Social if you want all her links. I want her to have a huge group there. Once she'll get to a certain number in the group, we will make her a special page. But until then,
and I want to interrupt for 1 sec because this is really scary, and I want parents to know that we're at a point where we're at a tipping point, and God willing, on Tuesday, Patriots are in control, and we will start to see a lot of changes. But start watching what your kids are seeing online. Don't have enough time to make sure, and stop feeding into the fear that going back to school is dangerous. Letting big tech educate your child is more dangerous. And their goals are nefarious. They're not about helping children. Their goals are about creating a society that does not rebel. And these are the only options for homeschooling right now. It's very important, not for homeschooling, for remote schooling. Homeschooling's different. But, I just want people to know that you're not there. We can do stuff. We just need to be aware, and we need to say no. We need to start saying no. We're seeing other countries, here it's all the rebels and antichrist and antifas and Luciferian lunatics in the streets. But in other countries, it's the free people in the streets saying no. Well, in America, we have to start saying no. And we will win, but make sure that you understand that this remote learning are the same people that brought us COVID, want us to have Agenda 2030, want mandatory vaccines, want to put a chip in your kids and in us to monitor everything, and are heading towards smart cities. So anyway, I want people to feel empowered. I think this week is a good week. I feel really positive, but just start educating yourself, because we can't fight back if we don't know.
Bill de Blasio did something again, but this is on my hit list for next year. That would be take down the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. That would be taking down NASA. That would be taking down the Department of Defense, and that would be finishing off the CIA. That's my hit list of 4 for the next, and the UN. If you take down the Gates Foundation, the UN will go.
Absolutely.
The UN will be done. They'll have no financing. That's my hit list for next year. Okay.
Okay, love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Educate yourself.
We have a ton of views. People watching 1,887. Yay. Wow. And that's because we don't even have all 3 channels on. We have one on Periscope, so we're always
cool.
So that's how many people we have watching, which means it's more than that. That's me. I think we have like 3,000. So
you're the tech guru.
When you guys say she's a guest, she's not a guest. This is her regular day. This is her show. She's not a guest. She's regular.
They always say I talk over you, but I'm like, I want you to say something.
She's not a guest. She's not a guest.
You have me come here to babble.
She's the regular programming for Sundays. She's not a guest. So
and I need you because I'm technically challenged.
She's a regular on this channel on Sundays. And then when we do the other show, probably on another day. And now I have to grab Roseanne kicking and screaming because she's going to be the moderator.
Parents, grandparents, neighbors, empower yourself to look at what your children are learning online because it's not what you think and we can fight back. We're not helpless.
You can homeschool your kids.
Yes, that's different.
Also, but then they won't have the socialization. So you really do need to take the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation down because they're doing this just like they force all the computers to go on their program. They're doing this.
Oh my God, that was the plan. Remember, Oprah said they're giving computers to every public school without telling us that meant that you would have to also transfer to Common Core, which is the dumbing down of society to the lowest common denominator. And we allowed it. Let's not allow it anymore. Let's Americans and free people all over the world say enough's enough. They're our children. They're not their children, and we're not going to give them to them. You know, we got to fight back.
Bill de Blasio did something in the last week, and I can't remember what it is, but he did something.
Let me know.
There's a list.
Let me tell you something. If Bill de Blasio and Cuomo don't end up in prison after what they've done to the city, I don't know who belongs there. I mean, and Cuomo now you can't, I wanted to go to Florida, but I can't leave without getting a test, and I can't come back without getting a test and quarantining for 14 days. And our state is 3% infection rate, which isn't even deaths. And this just happened this week.
Oh my God.
Here.
So you're held hostage in New York.
Yeah, I am. I am. You know why? Because I don't believe in those tests. I don't want them having my data.
They're gonna infect you. How's that? They're gonna infect you.
No, I'm undercover here. Nobody's coming near me. My friends are like, why do you walk around looking like a homeless person? I'm like, because nobody will bother me if I wear my hat and my big coat. Nobody bothers.
Yeah, the bottom line is this. Oh, it was to do with the homeless people. I think he did something about the homeless, doing something. It's just crazy. He still is not arrested for the $850 million.
How I feel about that. It's disgusting. They're horrible people. But hopefully, after Trump wins, yay!
After Trump wins in 2 days,
days,
the COVID's going to be over.
Everything's not real.
Over, and hopefully they're going to just arrest them, like just grab them and take them.
We need to go back to where we were because everything was fine, and they created this to destroy our country, not our country. They just created this so that the whole world would beg the UN to take over. And guess what? No. Not going to happen.
And New York is down to everything's falling. I think they're down to a very, very low. I think, what is that? You were saying 10% occupancy.
Oh my God. Yeah, because, Halloween's a big weekend in New York City. There's the LGBT Halloween parade. There's a Halloween parade in Brooklyn. Anyway, they were all canceled. Last year at this time in New York City, hotels were 90% occupancy. This weekend in New York City, 10% occupancy.
The real estate's going to go down, all down.
They said only 12% of corporate real estate right now has returned. I mean, it's insanity. But I'm telling you, he already sold us out to the CCP to be the first smart city. I'm telling you, New York is completely compromised, and he's allowing this to happen on purpose. There's no other explanation. None.
It's disgusting.
Anyway, I love you, and God wins, and we're going to win big on Tuesday.
Yes. See you then.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.